guys, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, my name is Sarah and this is my mom. Today's video is going to be something very different than what I normally post, but I think it's important to talk about it as well as just hopefully give some advice and help and inspiration to some of you who may be dealing with it or maybe have a loved one who's dealing with it. A while ago, I talked to you guys about my mom being diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and she's coming up to her year survivor anniversary. She got pretty much officially diagnosed on the 14th of February last year, so happy Valentine's Day. You got cancer. But she has now been surviving and living and enjoying life even despite the cancer for a year now, and she's been cancer free and in remission since October 31st of this past year, so on Halloween, which is all super really exciting. But I also want to do this video to celebrate her, but also because February 4th was World Cancer Awareness Day. Now, normally that day is supposed to kind of bring awareness to different types of cancers, help for preventative measures, early diagnosis and treatment programs. And that's not really what we're going to talk about in this video, but just because that is a special day too, and it kind of all comes around together with her being a year cancer survivor as well as that, we kind of want to make this video, and my mom came up with this idea, and I thought it was great. So I know some of these, my subscribers may not be dealing with this or may not have a loved one who has cancer, but hopefully some of you get help from this and feel inspired or feel supported and loved because you are. So this is my mom. You want to say hi?
Hello. Hi.
So the video, I really wanted to kind of touch base and talk about just still being you and letting you know that your illness or the cancer just doesn't define who you are, define a loved one from who they are. I know that getting that diagnosis can be so obviously life-altering, so hard. I always think about, like, my life will forever be changed from the day I found out she had cancer. So it's like life before the diagnosis and life after the diagnosis. Nothing ever really goes back totally normal like the way it was before, because she's still getting treatment, or we have to worry about her getting sick with the flu or something like I just had, just constantly being aware of it in the back of our minds. But that doesn't mean that you can't live and have a full life even if you got diagnosed with cancer. Something my mom also has like heavy on her heart is just feeling not as good about herself as she used to, having a little bit of insecurities. I know a lot of women and even men may go through that when they lose their hair and their body changes, their skin changes, all about who they think they were and the identity they used to have as a healthy person is no longer there because they are going through chemo and they're losing their hair, or they're losing a lot of weight, or they're gaining weight. Some people gain weight from chemo or steroid treatment, stuff like that, and you just don't feel as good as you may have felt in the past. So I wanted to do a video, one, to just support you and let you know that you are loved and that you are you regardless of your illness, and that you can still have a full, enjoyable life with totally great adventures and fulfillment, but also that you are still beautiful regardless if you have any hair, or if you lost a lot of weight or gained a lot of weight. No matter what, you are still beautiful. And so we're going to show you a demo on my mom on things that I would suggest. Maybe, I know I don't have cancer, but just seeing what stuff she's been going through and kind of like what how the chemo affected her, which it affects everyone differently, but kind of showing you some tips and tricks. And she's going to talk to you about her wigs that she got, and just kind of advice and maybe places you can go look for it and stuff like that. So we're just going to jump in. Do you have anything else to say?
You more or less said it all.
Okay, well, my mom, before she got diagnosed, we were running our home daycare business. I know I've talked to you guys about that a lot too. And you were stressed all the time, and I think just really exhausted. And I was having, I had a really hard pregnancy, and so I was on bed rest, so she had to take care of everything. And honestly, that's probably why we missed a lot of her early symptoms, and we could have had an earlier diagnosis, because when she started showing symptoms, we thought it was because she was tired, or because she was stressed out, or because she was taking on everything that I couldn't do. So, but then she got the diagnosis, and of course it was hard on everybody. She had a rough time getting back from your surgery and coming back, but when she did, and then she's just like rocked it since then. But I think as much of it as it's been negative, and I wish that I could go back and take it all away and her never have cancer at all, it's been a somewhat of a blessing in disguise, because she doesn't have to work anymore. She's been able to retire, and I know not everybody has that capability or the finances, or they still want to work, but she's been able to enjoy her time more, spend more time with us, spend more time with the kids. I've been able to kind of work my schedule around it, and we've just been enjoying our time more, rather than being so stressed out over the little things or being exhausted all the time. And I think that's such a big thing to look at it, rather than thinking of like, oh my gosh, I got cancer, because I think it's so easy to get into that mindset where you're constantly focusing on the cancer. And I know I had that big issue and had really terrible anxiety, even when she was doing so much better than I was, and I was worried all the time and Googling all the time, and my anxiety just skyrocketed. And then I stopped focusing on those things, the what ifs, the will she get better, or what if her count goes up again, or whatever it is, and started just to enjoy the time, because I don't want to waste anything. Regardless, she could very well just outlive me, and just, who knows, but I just don't want to focus on, being so anxious and worried about the future, when right now we have plenty of time now to focus on just spending time with one another and doing things. We talked about going to get tattoos, whenever, maybe this summertime we'll go get tattoos, and just little things, and just enjoying life, and cancer doesn't define you. I think, like, for her friends, you were talking about how a lot of your friends kept wondering, like, oh, can you do those things? Can you go out? Can you go to the movies? Or can you go see friends or go to parties? And lately she's having to be more careful because it is flu season, but she's not incapable of living and being with friends, and she doesn't look sick. And a lot of people tell her that. I think people are shocked when they find out she does have cancer, because she doesn't look like she has cancer. I think we just imagine this really sickly person when we hear cancer, but that's not the case. So, anyway, that's the first part. And I think we're just gonna talk about you want to talk about you being the mascot of your chemo group and your chemo club?
Oh, yeah. Well, for one thing, I've had a positive attitude, which has been very, very helpful to me, but my doctor's been very, very happy with that and said that's a big part of it. If you have a positive attitude, it really helps you. So when more cancer patients come in, once in a while, some of them are so down and so scared, and I remember being scared and down, and so they asked me to talk to them and tell them it's important to have a positive attitude and have your family around, which has really helped them. And that makes me happy, because I feel like I'm doing something that's important too by helping them. Also, it's really sort of funny, but when I had one of my treatments, for some reason, after it had been like several times I'd already had it, but I broke out in a really bad rash, and so they had to find a treatment to do it, to help me so that I didn't break out a rash again, or I couldn't have that treatment. And the treatment is my Dr. Khan has put me on is...
Okay, we don't do names.
Okay, sorry.
Safety.
Okay, so that my doctor has helped me with, and so they put it's like putting steroids and Benadryl and everything in. So now they have named that after me. And so that's really sort of fun, because whenever somebody has this problem, which happens once in a while, not all the time, they'll say, oh, we need to use her, I can't remember what it was that they said.
They said our last name and the method.
Yeah.
So, that's always kind of funny, and it's a joke and stuff. I think you just have to find humor too, and just enjoy the little things. It just really is about the little things. And my mom has always been so good, and I knew she was scared in the beginning, but honestly, after you got your surgery and we're on the up and up, that is when I saw the most like hope and fight in her, and the positivity. Even when I was being negative Nancy and so scared about everything, she has consistently remained hopeful. And I think that's the number one thing. Is some people, I mean, a number of even her friends and people she knows may have had bad diagnosis, but then comes out and look, they're in remission, or they're doing really well. And you never know, like, you don't know how your treatment's going to affect your body and stuff. But I think we just automatically think cancer is a death diagnosis, and it's not. And there is so much hope to be found, and so many lasting relationships. She has what she calls the chemo club, and it's just a bunch of her friends. Some of them have her, one of them has her the same cancer, a couple of them have leukemia and stuff like that, and they're all just friends, and they support each other and help each other through the tough times, because there are some tough times. Sometimes you get negative news that the cancer's spreading, or that your counts aren't where you need them to be. And then there are other times where they can rejoice together, and they specifically know what they're going through because they actually are dealing with the cancer. They have the chemo, and so when they're in remission, it's a big celebration, and they go out to lunch, and they have little chemo club shirts. And
I should have worn mine.
Yeah. I think that is such an important thing, is to really surround yourself and not alienate yourself because out of fear or because you don't think anybody will understand, because there's so many different people, and unfortunately cancer is a lot more widespread than I think we like to believe. I never in my whole entire life thought my mom would ever get diagnosed with cancer. She was always the healthy one of everybody, and so I think that was also one of the harder things for me, because it just wasn't what I would have ever imagined. And so it's hard because you don't think that's going to happen, but cancer unfortunately is so much more prevalent than we like to think it is, and there's so many more people that understand and are willing to help and just lend an ear. So I mean, of course everybody has bad days and wants to stay in or maybe cry or not go out, watch tons of Netflix, do what you want and make yourself, have those days, because I think that's important too, but not to just totally stay shut in and scared, and just to go out and enjoy things. Go to a movie, or go out with friends, or go back to work, or do something that you've always wanted to do. Okay, so the next thing is we're going to talk about just like the self-confidence, because I know my mom's had the biggest issue with her losing her eyelashes and her eyebrows and her hair. That's been really hard on her, because the whole entire time I've been growing up, my mom's always talked about, or always been like into beauty, and that's probably where I got so into it too. And just whenever I would leave without lipstick on, she's like, well, where's your lipstick? You can't. She always wears makeup and stuff, and she's just always been really into that. And so I think it was really hard for you when you lost your hair and your eyelashes and eyebrows, because that was part of like an identity. And as I don't notice it, my husband doesn't notice it, my kids, her grandchildren don't notice it, and I know she was really worried because she thought they'd be scared, and we don't notice it, but I know it's because it's her, and she's aware of it, and she knows, like, oh, I don't have those eyelashes, or I don't have those things, and I think it's been kind of hard for you.
Yes, it has been. It's hard to lose your hair, I must admit, but the one thing that was harder for me was to lose my eyelashes and eyebrows, because eyebrows you can draw on and everything, and eyelashes is true you can put on, but that's not something you really want to take time to do every day when to put that on. But the hair, it affects you.
So my hair was growing out, and then I was losing a bunch of my hair, and I kept joking, because my mom, her hair loss didn't start for a long time after she started her treatment, and I was like, I'm going to be losing the hair, because I was going through postpartum hair loss terribly, and I was balding before she was. And what she ended up doing, because she didn't want to shave her head, and I think that's what we see a lot of movies, or we just assume like, oh, that's what we should do, is just shave her head. She instead decided to go get a pixie cut, and it looked super cute on her. If I have a picture, I'll post it or link it or put it right here to show you guys, because it was so cute. And because she didn't want to, shave her head, she was just going to let it fall out, and it looked super cute. And it still took a long time. And she still has hair. She's never gone completely cue ball or anything. But so there's things that you can do. You don't have to feel like you need to shave your head if you're going to lose hair. I know a lot of different chemos. Some people lose hair and some people don't lose hair, and the different type of treatment plan does definitely affect hair loss as well. So, but just, you have options, and we want to talk to you about those options. So my mom, we started looking at wigs. I think we waited until she started losing hair before we even really looked at wigs. And wigs can be so expensive. But the great thing, there are cancer perks. That's what I always joke, because she can play the cancer card, because there are a lot of cancer perks in a way, and there are a lot of things that people do for cancer patients. A lot of times insurance companies will cover wig costs. There's a lot of different companies that donate wigs. You can submit an application. I think the American Cancer Association even has like different websites that do support groups and stuff like that. So if you're really looking into like wigs and you don't have the money for it, or don't really know where to start, those resources are really great. We went to a cancer shop, which was really helpful, because these women, it was predominantly for cancer. I think you could go, obviously you go if you don't have cancer or not, but it was a place that specialized in, you know, women who were going through cancer and losing their hair, and they had tons of different products. And these women would talk to you, and they were super empathetic and kind, and they taught my mom how to put on the wig, what she needed to do. And I mean, I didn't know, I never did wigs, and even though I love a lot of beauty stuff, I had no idea what to do. I was out of my ballpark too, so I couldn't help her in that. So we just researched, because one of her friends told her about it, and we found a place near us, and they're all over. There's not necessarily like a chain or anything, but there's, I mean, if you just Google wig shops for cancer hair loss and stuff like that, they'll have things all over for you. And they were super kind. They took a long time. They let her try on a ton of wigs. They talked to her about it. And I know she was really scared, because it was kind of like the first step into, you know, kind of, I feel like, accepting a little bit more. And I know she was really nervous, but they were so sweet. And she found a wig and she got it. And they were, I think they were, it was like under 200. It was under 200. I think that was the most expensive wig you bought. Was there. And then she did submit for the insurance company to at least cover partial or all of it. So that's an option too. And I think some places have like forms, and they'll like write off and stuff like that too for you at those specific places. So that's a great place to start, just to get information down too. And we didn't have to buy the wig. You know, I don't ever felt like they pressured at all, which is really helpful. And they also offer like free, you know, come in to get free trims or cut the bangs and stuff to see how it lays on your face, which is really nice too. Okay, so the next thing is kind of storing your wigs and keeping them in places. We just got styrofoam wig heads from Amazon. They were super inexpensive. These were from China, so they take a while to get to you. But I do think that they have these at craft stores if you need to find them like stat. But we just got wig heads. So my mom's just gonna kind of like go through each wig. Now she prefers more of like the shorter bob, pixie cut kind of hairstyle. We don't have any like super long wigs. But you can find those obviously really easily, but these are just, I just want to show you the styles that she has, and then the places that we got them at to kind of help you if you don't really know where to go. So like I already mentioned, the cancer shop is a really great place to start.
That's
but then
from this one. This is the one that I got from that cancer place that they had for the wigs, and it's a really nice one. This one is my longest one also. And it's it's highlighted, because that's the way I always normally wore my hair before all of this hit. Now my hair's the little hair that I do have is all gray.
I think the thing that was nice about this is, and what they recommended first too, was get something that was closest to what she had for her hair. So it didn't feel as big of a change. It wasn't like she went from her hairstyle to like a black wig and then maybe losing her hair. It wasn't so dramatic and as hard. This one was similar to what she used to have, and so it still felt like she saw herself in the mirror. And that was something that they said, which I think is really helpful. So if you're starting to lose your hair and you kind of want to know where to go with wigs, I would start to try to find something either you like the most on yourself, or something that you previously had before you started losing hair, because it won't seem as much of a dramatic change and shock to your system. So this one was, I think, the most expensive, like we said, and it did come from the cancer kind of store place, cancer, I can't even know what it is, beauty salon, I don't even know what to call it. Anyway,
wig shop
for cancer patients. Anyway, and then from there, she just kind of branched out once she realized kind of how fun it can be to buy different colors and cuts and styles. So was this the next one?
Yeah, this was the next one that I bought from a shop that was online actually. If you go on, for some reason it popped up on Facebook when I was on, but if you go online and put down wigs shops, and they'll have them, and they range from so many different prices. You can find some that actually have been put on sale, and they may be like $60 to $80, and then, you know, of course they go up in price, but once in a while it's sort of fun to, you know, be a total brunette, you know, just what am I feeling today?
So, I'll leave the link below of the shop that she got these on, and they do run sales, like she said, so if, you know, there's certain ones, just kind of keep looking out. I think that's what she kind of does too. She kind of just goes on periodically and looks what they have and things on sale that she likes, which is kind of fun. It kind of makes something a little bit more exciting. Another cancer perk, kind of in a way. You gotta get to have fun and kind of look on the different things. Like I said, sales, insurance, submitting, a lot of times they give them for free, which we'll talk about the next ones, but this is just her cute little brown, kind of like a little pixie cut.
Forgot to bring that one.
Okay, well, my favorite actually, besides the newer one that she actually got from her cancer clinic. So where she goes and get her chemo, where her doctor is. A lot of people and a lot of companies and stuff bring in unused wigs, donate wigs to people, to the cancer patients there. So I think that's pretty normal. So that's a really good option. I know a lot of people are like, oh, there's like a big pile of hair and you don't really want to go in there, but my favorite wig on her she got, and it's so cute, and it was free, and I love it. So that's another place if you don't have the money or you kind of want to change.
They have them on, actually they're all on wig heads so that they're back in the back. They're not just back there laying down.
Okay.
Okay, and this next one, blonde, because I love blonde and I've been blonde anyway, is from QVC.
QVC I started watching and falling in love with when I actually had like gallbladder surgery and was really sick for a while, and we've never looked back. So who knew QVC carried wigs, but they do. The great thing about QVC is that you can do payment plans, and they're not that expensive. I think this wig was under $100, plus you got it on a payment plan. I think they're called Hairdo. I think that's the company that makes them. You can buy them in other places. You don't have to go on QVC, but they do normally do better prices on QVC. Something that they've talked to us about too, I don't think any of these are real hair. They recommended not doing that for patients, I think, because it was hotter, or...
Yeah, it gets really hot and they wind up being harder to take care of. So.
I mean, you can go that route if you really want to do it, but just starting out, I would maybe do
normally also real hair costs more money.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, I don't think there's so many people who have no idea that she's wearing a wig and have been like, that's a wig, because they look so authentic. And a lot of times what they do is you look for kind of the rooted scalp, or the rooted roots, darker roots, and it looks so real because it looks like that's kind of like her scalp area, and that really makes a huge difference, I think, in making it look more real. You can also do, I've seen a lot of time to help bring down the shine if you think your wig's too shiny, especially if you do a lighter color. You could use like baby powder, or even like dry shampoo to kind of take down the shine to make it a little bit more realistic looking. I don't think she hasn't had an issue with that or anything, but if that's something you found a wig and it's just really shiny, that could be an option. Amazon's also really great for wig options too, and the great thing about Amazon is normally there's always tons of reviews and there's pictures of people wearing the wig, so you can actually see what it looks like rather than just like a picture on the actual website. So Amazon is a good option too, and you can find a lot of cheap, inexpensive. We are not QVC right now because we can't even like style this right on QVC.
Well, you also, and you use wire brushes to style them, but when you put them on, you know, it's funny because you just put them on, shake your head, and then, you know, just sort of sometimes can just use your fingers to sort of style them.
Use them. All right, and the last one.
It's on my head.
Well, what's this one?
This one's the long one.
Last one is her newest one. It's from the same company. It's the actually exact same cut as this one from QVC, and it's red. So she has them all over. You can see she has blonde, she has brunette, she has red, she has kind of more of a ashier blonde, where this is more warm. You can go all over. You can pull off so many different looks, and the great thing is you don't have to commit to it. So that is another kind of perk. The other thing...
sometimes when you wear... you know, or when you're going to wear, which I have a lot of too, beanies, especially at night, my head gets really cold. But if I don't feel like wearing a wig, you can put this on, and they're little bangs, and then you put it on, and then you put the beanie or little headscarf or whatever on, and then you look like you have bangs. People don't know.
So,
I have,
yeah.
so that's really nice to have too, and it attaches to the little band, and that holds them on your head.
And the thing that I think is nice about this too is it's not as hot. So especially in the summertime, if you still want to look like you have hair, but you don't want to wear like a heavier wig, these are nice because you could still look like you have hair, but it's just underneath a little hat rather than looking like you don't have anything. And my mom's still planning on taking these in to go get them all cut and kind of trimmed to her face. That's something just to keep in mind, is that comes a little bit longer, so you may want to take them into your hairstylist and bring them in bulk. And ours offered to cut all of her hair for a little, all her bangs for $30 and stuff. So that's just something to think about. She has a couple of different options too, but those are great to wear with her beanies and her little cute little hats. She also has little bandanas. She just has like a plethora of little options. So also a great thing on Amazon is she got these as a gift. A lot of people sent her some sweet things, but I did see these on Amazon too, and they're just like little turbans. So they're stretchy and they're comfortable, and she can wear these with her bangs, but she also wears like a hat at night because her head gets cold. And so, but these are inexpensive, and they have tons of different ones, which would be really cute. My children like to put them on their heads. And people always bring little beanies and hats in to her cancer clinic, so she gets free hats that way. And she has more little hats. She has tons of them. And like I said before, I think my mom was really worried that, especially with my kids, that they would notice and they would be scared of her hair or her wearing hats all the time. And they love it. I mean, especially my daughter, my oldest, who's 3, she's like totally comfortable, and I actually really like that because, I would totally change my mom having cancer, but it makes me feel good that she is so comfortable with seeing my mom in hats or wigs or no hair at all and not being upset or scared, because I think, like I said, I think a lot of people think when they think of cancer, especially if they don't know a loved one or a friend or themselves or anybody who has cancer, and they imagine somebody with cancer, they just imagine someone who's really sick and really frail and doesn't look good and can be kind of scary. And I think people kind of tiptoe around others who have that because you don't really know how to react. And Ollie, my mom's still her favorite person in the whole entire world. Nothing has changed that about her, and I'm glad that she can grow up knowing that to be so accepting of others. And maybe if she sees a kid who's her age, who's maybe dealing with that, she can talk to her about how her grandma had cancer and to make her feel comfortable and stuff. So it doesn't have to mean that you are sick and you're bald and you're obviously, because I feel like the movies make everybody look really bad, and of course you have your bad days. My mom still has been really great with the chemo. It hasn't really affected her too bad, but she does have sometimes like her bones ache really bad, or she gets really achy or really exhausted. Or it seems to be that now that she's on maintenance, it seems to be there's like one day that she gets where she gets really nauseous and she vomits for a little bit, but she most of the time seems totally healthy and totally normal, and you wouldn't know unless she showed you her port or she told you she had cancer.
Which the kids always like to see.
Yeah. So those are her wigs and her hats. And so now we're going to do kind of like a makeup demo. I know not everybody will have the same type of skin type. Not everybody will be, people vary in ages obviously when it comes to this, but I'm going to do makeup on my mom on kind of like what she's dealing with versus like how the chemo is kind of affecting her skin, and just kind of like what I think will look good on her face structure and stuff like that. But I want to give you a couple tips and tricks. Now, once again, I am not a licensed makeup artist. I am just learning everything from myself, self-taught through YouTube and articles and Pinterest and trial and error. So I know some of you guys are like, that's not what you do. This is what I do, and we're gonna try it out. So she's offered to be my model, and we're gonna go do that.
Here's the wig, the blonde one. You just turn it upside down and you grab the two ends down here at the bottom. You shake it, you put your head down, pull it over, and then you sort of just can finger style it, or I do have like a wire brush, which is what they tell you to use. You can't use anything else. So I need to go have it probably trimmed a little too, but very, very easy to do actually. So that's how you put it on.
All right, so here's my mom, all barefaced and bareheaded, and we're just going to do her makeup now. So first thing that I want to mention, and I think is really important, is skincare. So obviously, if you're losing your hair or your eyebrows, your eyelashes, you really want to focus on the skin to make it look really healthy and glowing. I think that's one going to help a lot with maybe making your self-confidence feel a little bit better. It's just really taking care of your skin and really putting the effort into skincare and keeping it as healthy as possible. I know a lot of times chemo, and especially too if you're also getting radiation, can really dry out the skin. So what I'm going to do is really focus on hydrating and making my mom's skin look really glowy. So I'm going to use the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cream. This is something I've talked about before on my channel and I really like. By the way, I got this big jumbo size off of QVC. So you can get this at like Ulta and Sephora, and I know that they now have started carrying the different scents. It used to be just their original scent, but I think that they demoed the scents on QVC, but the jumbo size I got exclusively off of QVC. And I still have like so much left, and I've been using it for so long.
How funny.
Take some Tarte Shape Tape, and we're just going to prime the eye area. So tilt your head back a little bit. It's a fresh new one. Using it before I am. Now to set that, I'm using my Anastasia contour kit, and I'm just going to take a mixture of the highlight shades. Now I'm going to use my Morphe by Jaclyn Hill by Morphe eyeshadow palette, and I don't know if I can open it. We're going to use a little bit of shimmer. Now if you're younger, shimmer you can go crazy with, but as your skin starts to age, shimmer doesn't look as good on the skin, so we're going to do a little bit of minimal shimmer, but I still think it'd make your skin look healthy and glowy. So I'm actually going to mix these two. I'm actually going to mix these two first shades and a little bit of this more kind of pinkier shade, and we're going to just put that all over the lid. I'm taking my Urban Decay Naked Basics palette. This is just the first one, and I'm just going to take a little bit of Walk of Shame and Naked 2, just kind of mix those, and we're going to fluff those into the crease. Going back into the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm just going to take a big mixture of the matte neutrals and kind of focus them on the outer corners and just kind of deepen up the look a tiny bit. Okay, so I just did a very basic, kind of a smoky eye on my mom. Like I said, we're focusing more on the skin. Now I know she looks kind of a little bit like Cleopatra right now because I focus so much on the outer corner. But when we have our lashes, eyeliner, eyebrows, all that stuff, it'll all go together. Okay, so next big thing that's important is to prime. And there's so many different primers that you can use that are on the market. I prefer silicone-based primers because I think that they go on my skin the best, but of course you can go with whatever works best for you. I'm just going to take a little bit of my Maybelline Baby Skin. Now, this isn't necessarily marketed as a primer, so it's not going to help the longevity of your makeup, but it's going to smooth out the skin, reduce pores, and make your makeup look really flawless. But if you are looking for something that's really going to help your makeup last all day, you're going to want to look for an actual primer that has long lasting and is marketed for adding duration to your makeup. So, I'm using one of my all-time favorite foundations, and it is the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Plus Cream. This has SPF in it, which is really great if you're trying to, well, you should be putting SPF and taking care of your skin. But I know that chemo can also affect the way your skin reacts to sun, so this is a good option for that to help block the sun, as well as that it's really awesome because it has skincare in it and anti-aging properties in it, so it's not just a foundation, you're actually helping your skin. Alright, this provides pretty much full coverage. Now she's a bit darker than I am, so it's maybe a little bit light for her, but it'll work. By the way, I got the jumbo size off of QVC. But you can get It Cosmetics at Ulta. I want to say they started selling it at Sephora, but I'm not positive about that. But then, you know, jumbo size though, only at QVC with 6 easy pays. I wish, no sponsored, but I wish QVC was sponsoring this. You hear QVC, I'm here. I'm ready for you. Okay, we're just going to use a damp beauty blender. Now we are going to do concealer again. Tarte Shape Tape. This is really great if you find yourself having pretty dark circles underneath your eyes, whether you're not sleeping well. I know chemo, once again, can cause skin to act weird. So this is an awesome concealer. And maybe you don't want to go so full coverage as I went with foundation. You can always use a more full coverage concealer in place of the foundation and just put it on your problem areas. But we're doing highlighting, highlighting the bridge of the nose, the cupid's bow, the chin, and under the eyes, because like I said, we're going full glam. Now that our skin looks flawless, we're going to set it. Now setting it is really important if you want your makeup to last all day. And like I said, we're focusing on skin, so we want to make our skin look as healthy as possible. So we're going to set it, and I'm just using my Airspun, which is one of my all-time favorites. And we're just going to set the face with that and do what's called baking, which I'm sure you guys know about. Alright, now we're going to bronze. Bronzing is super important because it gives the illusion that you spent out time in the sun and you went on a beach holiday instead of to the chemo club. And I'm just using my It Cosmetics CC Ombre Radiance Bronzer, another QVC special value. Okay, relax your face. And I'm just taking this on a Wet n Wild large powder brush, and I'm just hitting her cheekbones right now, her temples, and on her temples I'm just kind of patting it in. And we're just doing it where the sun would naturally hit her face. Next comes contouring. I'm going back into my Anastasia palette. I'm not using too much of the contour. I don't want to make her look gaunt or anything. But just to add a little bit more definition. So I'm basically going over the spots that I put that bronzer. Now, my biggest advice here, guys, is to use a highlighter. We want to make us look healthy and glowing, and to do that, we're going to use a highlighter. Now, there are tons and tons and tons of different highlighters on the market. I'm going to start with Becca Moonstone, and this to me is a bit more subtle. You can build it up and go crazy, but this one isn't super, super intense and shimmery. So we're going to start with this one. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this on the high points of the face. So down the bridge of the nose, focus a little bit on her nose, tip of her nose, her cheekbones, and her cupid's bow. Now, this is a bit more subtle. If you're new to highlighter, this may be a way you want to start. But we're going to go a little bit more intense. Luckily, she's my guinea pig. So we are now going to bring out the Anastasia Glow Kit, which is my favorite. This is the Sugar Glow Kit. And I'm going to mix marshmallow, butterscotch, and Starburst all together. And we're going to go wablam. The reason that I like to put the highlighter on before I put my blush, I know a lot of people do it differently, is because I think that when I put the blush on afterwards, it kind of just blends everything out, so it doesn't look like you have a big strip of highlighter. I think it makes the cheeks look more healthy and glowing, and for the highlight to look a little bit more natural. My other tip is to kind of, without any extra powder, is to bring whatever's left on that brush onto the cheekbones. And like I said, now that I'm putting the blush on top of it, it's going to take away some of that sheen, but it's naturally going to make these apples of your cheeks look really glowy and healthy, and your skin to look really radiant. And so that's what we're going for. So it's another reason why I kind of hold off on blush till the end. Another thing about me is I like to use like 50 blushes. So I'm going to use a warm toned blush. This is from NARS. It's called Luster. I definitely love this blush, and you can tell by the pan. It's very warm toned and pretty. It is kind of a mixture of a bronzer and a blush. I just think it makes the skin look so healthy and pretty. And I'm taking this on my Real Techniques blush brush, and I'm just patting it on her cheekbones, starting from the apples and moving backwards. To add a bit more intensity, we're taking NARS in Sen, and
you do like blush.
This one is a bit more of an intense blush. It's a bit more of a berry toned, but I think it is really pretty and kind of complements that contour. Once again, we are just patting it onto the cheekbone. Very last blush, and my all-time favorite blush, is the NYX Cosmetics CC Radiance cream blush. No, what? This is the IT Cosmetics CC Radiance Ombre Blush in Je ne sais quoi. And I'm just taking that on the same brush. Can you smile? And I'm focusing that on the apples and then blending it backwards. Now, I know that people think the apples of the cheeks, putting blush on there can make your cheeks look a little bit whiter. And they can, but I find that it makes your skin look healthier. So I'm popping that on her face, and then we're just going to blend it. But I think it really adds to that radiance and the glow that we're wanting. It's my favorite blush. Okay. And we're just going to blend that now. She is rosy as heck, but she looks happy and healthy. So we're going to put whatever's remaining on that highlighter brush back onto those tops of those cheekbones just to highlight a tad bit more. And I'm going to take that contour brush, no extra contour, and just blend out that contour line with that blush together. Now, if you want to go a little crazy, you can carve out the cheekbones down here under your contour to make that blush and that contour and the bronzer and highlighter to really stand out and to clean up down here. But I think we made an intensive look already, so we're going to leave that a little bit more natural. Okay, so for brows, we are doing some Makeup Revolution brow pomade. I am not the best at brows. This is going to be a trial and error for me. But I know that my mom may be able to learn too. And this is in the color Blonde. Really good reviews with this. It comes with a little brush. We're going to try this out.
Okay.
Okay, we got a brow, guys. I am not a brow master, but we got a brow. It'll look better once we have the rest of the face on. My mom's much better at brows. If you're used to drawing your eyebrows on, totally can do this. Okay. So we got eyebrows. Once again, I'm not the master eyebrow person, so do not judge. We also have eyeliner. Now, a big thing with my mom with her eyeliner was that she said that it...
When I put it on, because I needed one that's going to last all day, because it wouldn't last all day, and then since I don't have eyelashes, and everything. My eyes, to me, they just look like nothing was there.
So we are going to use the NYX Très Jolie eyeliner gel pencil liner, and this is in black. This has awesome reviews. I'm going to have you do it because you're used to doing your eyeliner, and then we'll meet you back. All right, we are going to do lashes and lips. We're going to use the Revlon lip butter in Pink Truffle. And then we will meet you back after we have our lashes on and my mom has her wig on, and we will show you the final look. Got my mom's lashes on, her lipstick, her liner, she's all done. I'm just taking some of the NYX finishing spray. Close your eyes. And this is going to lock in her makeup and make it last all day, all night. You could do the dewy one, which is really good if you want to help make your skin radiant. I did the matte one just to make sure that it lasts all day. So she's gonna look beautiful. She is beautiful regardless of her makeup. But hopefully I gave you guys some tips that could help you when you're going through this process as well. And I'm gonna show you some close-ups in just a second. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you guys got some inspiration, some advice, just felt a little bit better, especially if you know someone who's going through this or if you're going through it through yourself. And remember, because I am really an advocate for just the World Cancer Awareness Day, listen to your body. If something feels off, if something's not right, you know better than anyone. Definitely go get it checked out. Even if you feel silly, even if you feel ridiculous, believe me, I've done it many times. And it's better to be safe than sorry, guys. Listen to your body. If something's not right, go get it checked out. Totally worth it to find out in the beginning than to wait too long. So that's my #1 piece of advice for you. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. It would mean the world to me if you subscribed and became a part of our little family. And I'll see you guys all very soon.
Bye, thank you. Hope you liked it.